confidentiality in the workplace is important for building trust, maintaining trust. It also ensures honest communication between employees and your managers and bosses. So what should you be aware of when it comes to confidentiality at work? Career coach Chrissy Civic is here to answer your questions. Are we talking about sharing secrets, or is it more about just having that type of relationship with your other employees?
Well, what we're really talking about is all of that information that comes at us. We all basically touch confidential information on a daily basis in the workplace. Everything from like client credit card numbers to all the details of a special project that you're working on. And those things are not necessarily for public consumption. They can actually really damage your career if they get out. They can also have legal implications.
So why is it important to maintain that confidentiality? Is it important to have the level of trust with the people you work with?
Yeah, when you break confidentiality, you're potentially breaking trust. And like I said, you can have huge implications on your career and legal implications. So you've got to educate yourself. When you're looking at data and information, you need to know what can be shared with whom, when it's appropriate to share, and when it's not appropriate to share. You know, ignorance is not equivalent to innocence.
And with the world being online, with social media, does that change things too? Because it's so easy to accidentally put something out there.
You have to be so cautious online. You might remember a few years ago, there was a Google employee who actually posted this huge rant about the company and the products and what they were working on. He put it on Google+, thought he was giving it just to internal employees. It went public. If it can happen to him, it can happen to anyone. So just assume that anything that you put out there online is going to be publicly consumed.
Yeah, and no matter how you may feel in your role at work, it's important to know how important it is for you to keep that confidentiality, kind of your responsibility.
Absolutely. You have to understand your responsibility. If there is somebody who is coming up to you and asking you to keep certain information private, and it's something that's potentially illegal, it's something that could be damaging the company or its people or its clients, your responsibility is not to that person. Even if that person is an authority figure or your boss, your responsibility is to do the right thing by the law, by the company, and by your own moral code.
And by the people who sign your paycheck.
Yes.
The company behind your job.
Yeah, right.
And when it comes to the gray area, because there always are those gray areas you're not quite sure, it's probably not best to guess on that.
Right. You want to talk to a trusted advisor of some sort. Human resources is usually a good place to start, but recognize that everybody has their limits with confidentiality. People in HR, they're probably going to have to disclose information, again, that could be harming the company, something like sexual harassment, illegal behavior. They're going to have to talk to somebody. So you want to be really upfront right at the very beginning and ask them what are the limitations before you just kind of jump into sharing confidential information with them.
So what's appropriate to share and what's not? I mean, how do we know?
You know what? There's no easy black and white answer to that. You have to use your good judgment, and you need to kind of look at it from a 360-degree angle.
Chrissy, it's one of those topics that we don't often talk about, but every single one of us faces it all the time at work, and it's something to think about, especially because you got to tread lightly.
Yeah, even if you're not in the CIA or the NSA, it applies to you. We talk about this a lot right now in the news, but it applies to everyone.
Who told you about my second job at the CIA?
Right. Yeah.
Who told you about that? Thank you, Chrissy. Very good information. And you can find out more information in our on-air section on kdvr.com right now. Just click on air. So check for that. Guys,